Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 714. It is March 24th, 2022. I am your host this evening, Nick Henderson, and I am joined by Crispy. I had to decide which direction I was going.
You had to really think about that.
I know. And then I thought back to a few weeks ago when you were hurt that you went last, so I'm like, now you're first.
Now I'm first. Wow.
Technically second. I'm first.
You're always first in my heart, Crispy.
The system's rigged. Hello.
How are you doing, Crispy?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm here.
All right.
I'm excited to talk about video games.
Nothing some video games can't help.
Nothing crazy going on.
Chris Davis, say hello.
I'm here. Hello.
And joining us once again, Jeffrey DeMello. Hello, Jeff.
Hi.
You got Jeff's got energy tonight. He's got hype. He's got nothing but positive, good vibes to bring to the show. It sounds like video games that he's excited to talk about. I'll say this: we talked about it a little bit before the show due to some technical constraints this week. We're going to keep it kind of short. We're going to do one segment. We're not recording this in our usual manner, so you may notice a little bit of a difference in the audio quality. I think. Who knows? It's hard to say at this point. But just know we're here. We got energy. We're ready to talk about video games, and that's what we're gonna do.
It's like a campfire episode. You know?
Ah, yes.
It's like a campfire episode.
Somebody light something on fire, and I don't know who's prepared to do that, but we have stuff to talk about tonight, and I typically like to start with like the thing that hasn't been talked about yet, and I know that would make Chris Davis so happy. But I'm going to be honest, Jeff, one, hasn't been on the show in a while, and two, he's so excited to talk about his game of the millennium, Tunic. Which I talked about last week, but I am now much further, and I mirror some of the sentiments that he was talking about before the show.
Here we go. Now you know, Nick, that you can click in the right stick and you could bring down the menu, right?
Yes.
That shit had me in tears, bro.
Jeff broke my world before the podcast. Apparently, you can if you're in the menu that looks like the strategy guide or the instruction manual, if you will. If you hold down right on the right stick, it like pulls the camera back, and the screen becomes like pixelated, like you're looking at a CRT television, and it's like the guide is sitting in your lap, and you can like look down at it and like turn the pages,
shuffle through it.
Oh, okay.
Bro, listen. If you were a kid like me that grew up on like those strategy guides or even manuals it's so crucial to have the manual for Zelda. Like the original NES Zelda is so crucial because you don't know what anything does unless you have the manual, because all the descriptions are in the manual. Like the manual was part of the tutorial for that game.
It's shocking how manual. I mean, my history with games. I think I started playing games as the manual started to lose emphasis. I guess like I grew up with manuals, but they were never like integral to the experience, I think. But they were definitely a thing that I used to like flip through and look at every time I got a game. And now we've reached a point where like most boxes I open, there's nothing.
Bro, the original XCOM UFO defense manual on like MS DOS was like a fucking an FBI document. You know what I mean? That was like a thick, big manual with all types of like everything. You know, that's why those games are like when you try and like boot them up now, you're like, what the fuck, bro? It doesn't explain anything. It's like, yeah, because you were reading the manual. Like the manual was your tutorial.
Yeah, the first
mean?
half of the 90s were the glory days of the thick manual that was the size of a fucking binder.
It's awesome.
And you know what? And like last week when I had talked about Tunic, I was only like 2 hours into it, maybe, and I had started to kind of see like what they were going for, right? I was like starting to understand. For those who aren't aware, like when you're playing Tunic, which looks and feels very much like a classic isometric Zelda game, but like when you open the menu, it's like an instruction manual. You're flipping pages. It's drawn like it's hand drawn stuff. It's not There's not a lot of written word. The written words that are on there are in like a weird language that you can't understand. So you're taking in everything through context clues based on the illustrations. And I had started to get glimpses of that last week, and we talked about it. But now that I'm like 10 hours into the game, I totally see why it's so special, because
Yes.
and I had this thought today where I was thinking to myself, you know what this actually reminds me of in kind of a weird way. It's not a 1-to-1, but it makes me think of like the treasure maps in like Red Dead Redemption, where they're like you open it and it's like an illustration. You have to kind of like identify landmarks and like follow just like kind of like imagine the path to get there. Like the instruction manual that you pull up in this game is very much it's kind of like that, in that like everything is just illustrated and you're picking up context clues and like bouncing around from like page 49 back to page 10, because it's like you'll see a number, like it'll say like the number 10, and you're like, is that referring to page 10? And then you jump back to page 10 and you can like kind of like make mental connections on things, and then that translates to new ways to explore
It's
the world,
it correlates
which is
with
crazy.
it correlates with some things of like you imported a Japanese RPG, and all you had was the manual and you couldn't read it, so you just kind of looked at it and you're like figuring out what it means without fucking knowing how to read it. You know what I mean? It's really interesting that that's like the
I
big
mean,
the map
and
in the manual is literally the menu system. You just don't realize it at first.
yeah,
Like
I didn't
like
realize it
like
last week,
like
but it
like
is.
when you flip to the map in the book, when you have both map pages, right? And you flip to the map, your shit is on there. Like where you're standing is on there. Like it's not just like a static image. Like it alters. There's parts in the manual that are written on, like as if you, the human, said, "Oh no, I figured something out. Like this goes here."
Or
You know
like
what I
if you
mean?
bought the game secondhand
Second
and whoever
hand.
had it first.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
but it's
there's
funny
ripped
because like
pages. There's ripped pages and shit. Like, oh
So
no, like
there's
this is
stains,
is
cool.
there's stains on some pages, like somebody spilled a
Yes.
piece, like drop
And
of
so you
coffee out or
can't
something.
read certain things or can't see
and
certain
like
things.
this book is kind of like integrated into the gameplay
It's
of the
it's
whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's the
Like,
map button. It's the map
yeah.
button, you
But
know?
it's like this big cipher that you're kind of like trying to solve
Mm-hmm.
the whole time
yeah.
you're playing.
Yes.
As you're exploring
Yes.
the world, you're finding pages to it. So as you progress the
Oh,
game, you
in the
like add
game?
pages. Yeah,
Yes. In
in
the
the
So in
game,
the
game.
you find
game you're
pages.
finding pages for the book that's in the like
And you're
framing device of the. Does that make
of
sense? Like if you're
Yeah,
if you're in the game playing the game with the book
yes,
on
it
your
does
map,
it
how
does
does
make
that make?
sense. It does make sense because you're gonna have to like start to get the narrative for what's going on before it.
and real quick,
The
because
the
I just want
Okay.
to
the
just
framing it's not really, I don't know if necessarily like what they're trying to say is like, oh, I'm making a big statement about this stuff. I think it's just being a game, but what I do know is
Well,
that
there's.
like
I mean, that's a very deliberate decision to frame your game, like like
it's so my theory is that maybe the character in Tunic is like helping the kid, like every time he gets a page or whatever, he's helping this kid actually like learn and progress through this game by giving him these magical
should we?
instruction manual pages, right? I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's true or
I don't know
not.
if it ever gets
Again,
meta enough
they
for
don't
that, but
they don't really play into the meta that way. Like when you load this
Right.
game up, you literally it goes from that. If you pay attention to the intro, I believe it goes from that CRT scanning into this, which tells me, okay, now I'm in imagination mode. Like because the fact that when you're looking at the manual and it's on your lap, and you're looking at a CRT screen and it looks all pixely and jagged, like makes me think that like when you're actually playing Tunic, that's where your imagination is at. That's what your kid vision is showing the game
Right,
as.
right.
You know?
It's
which is
yeah.
it's and even if I mean it's probably it's intentional, but I
Hmm.
don't know how important it, like how integral it is to the experience, or more if it's just kind of like a clever Easter egg for people to kind of
Hmm.
like pick up on.
Ah.
But real quick,
Right.
because Bass and Buds live in chat says the way we talked about it last week had made him want to play it, but he's watching my footage and noticing that I'm dying a lot, so maybe it's too much.
Okay, listen.
I
Okay, listen. Here, I'm gonna
Look,
explain
just
something to you. I'm
because
gonna
Nick
Wait.
is a
Oh,
scrub
he's
doesn't mean that
saying.
this isn't a good game.
no,
Oh,
no.
I
I'm
get.
gonna tell you something right now. Right after fucking
I thought
Elden
he was
Ring.
calling you out, saying, "Damn, Nick's dying a
no,
lot. He
it's
shouldn't be
hard fucking
dying this
game.
much."
No, it's hard. The game is hard, and I'm gonna tell you right now. It's got accessibility options. You could turn off stamina, and you can turn off life health bar, so you could be completely invincible,
You could turn
right?
off
And
life.
and I'll tell you, and I'll or damage, turn off damage. But I'll tell you this, like
Don't do that.
I'm not gonna bang. No, not gonna bang my head against this game. Not after Elden Ring. Like I've had enough frustration with a game for the next few months. If I get stuck on something to the point where I'm gonna get
Oh,
frustrated, I'm
yeah.
flipping on God mode and I'm beating the bitch.
Okay,
You're,
okay. Let me
you're.
let me just
That's
preface.
just self care. I
I've had
mean.
enough. I've had enough. I can't. I don't I overdid the stepping on the balls where like I can't do it for the next month. Like I need to take a
That
break.
is that's totally fine. I just want to preface this: the footage that you're watching specifically is footage I just recorded tonight, and I am about 10 hours into the game, and I have come up against a kind of a wall. The first I think the first genuine wall I've hit in the game, because this particular boss, I don't fight the boss in the footage, but it is a very challenging area, and I've fought this boss probably like 20 times, and I'm not doing well. So this footage, I actually decided I was kind of double back into the temple or the dungeon that precedes this boss and see if I could find new stuff. And over the course of this footage, I find a new weapon. I even find the last piece that I need to put together a new potion. So now I have 7 potions instead of 6. So I already feel more prepared. But like, this is a game that rewards exploration. And if you typically, up until this point, if I got stuck on something, it was kind of like Elden Ring. I would just go somewhere else and do something else. But I've literally at this point kind of done everything in the overworld that I can, and the only way I'm going to be able to progress the game is to beat this boss. But this is the first time it's happened, and it's about 10 hours into the game. But I'll just say this: like, bosses in this game are challenging.
Yeah, this shit's hard. This shit's hard. It's
And
not an
I have
easy
been
game.
told this boss that I'm stuck on is probably the hardest boss in the game, even though he is not by any means the final boss. So, you know, take it with a
Hey,
grain of salt, but it does take inspiration from Souls for sure, for
if
sure.
if you were 148 hours into Elden Ring and you bashed your head against it for fucking dozens of hours and you didn't want to go through that, Nick, there's an accessibility option for you to
So
just God mode right
I
through it.
am now completely at peace with the decision that I made, which was to look. I'm treating Elden Ring like that game that I'm going to be courting for the next 6 months. I'm going to be playing it consistently, but I'm not going to just stop everything else until I finish it. I am going to play Tunic, I'm going to play Ghostwire Tokyo, and I'm going to sporadically play Elden Ring while I'm doing that, because
So you're saying
Elden
you're
Ring,
a
like you said,
video
is like a
game
100+ hour game.
polygamist.
Yes.
No,
100%.
here's
In this
so
case.
the problem with doing that, and the reason I didn't do that, Nick, is because there's like muscle memory and skill that comes with like
Which is why I
playing
still
Souls
make sure
games. And if you don't stick to the routine every week, your gym frame starts to lose
You're
it.
right.
And then
You're right.
every time you go back, you're like, fuck, I'm kind of ass at this. And then you take a day off and you come back 2 days later.
This
and
is
you're
why
like,
I make
fuck.
sure I play Elden Ring every couple days, even if
Yeah.
it's for like an hour. Like a lot of the sessions, and this is actually something that's I think is pretty unique to Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a game that is very comfortable playing in like hour long, like relatively quick hour long sessions, because there's so many like quote unquote bonfires everywhere that like I can just play for an hour, feel like I made progress, feel like I did something of use, of value in the game, and then I can just save and put it down and come back later. And as long as I do that enough within a certain amount of time, I don't that muscle memory doesn't fade for me, which is good. I'm just moving
I
along at a
thought
pretty slow pace.
I thought you
Uh,
were gonna say because you're never more than an hour away from like a devastating ass beating that's gonna make you want to drop the game forever.
Well, but the beauty of Elden Ring, which we'll talk about, like the beauty of Elden Ring, is that like when you run up against a situation like that, it's just kind of like, all right, I guess I'll go
I mean, sure, to a point.
somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vincent Graves in chat asks if the game feels fresh after 10 hours. I'm probably 10 hours in now, and I'm still enjoying it.
It
The so the like find the way that they design the finding the instruction manual booklets. It's really done in a way that like it it's like a step ladder of revelations that make you get better and better at what's happening, right? So
yeah,
at first the first few pages just teach you like the basic stuff, and then you kind of accept that, and you kind of go forward. Then you use those things that they allow you to see in those first pages to be the tutorial to what you're doing up to a certain point, and then those pages actually give you a lot of information if you're paying attention. There's like little sections of lore that tells you like, oh, this character has to ring a bell, and there's a checklist of things. So you use logic to be like, oh, maybe there's an east and west to this thing, and you just logically start to decipher these pages, and they get more complex. Like you
you're also
start to
finding
get
them out of order, which is
yeah.
is
Well, you
important to
get it
notice.
more later. More later, you're getting like half the page of something, and you're like, man, like I don't know exactly what this means because I only found the first half of this page, and you have to kind of experiment with what it does, and then that comes to a revelation, like
And
holding A, right? You know what I'm talking about, Nick? With
yeah,
holding A, like I stared at that shit for so long, and I don't even know why that ability is there from the jump. You know what I mean? Like you
everything is
can hold
almost
A.
everything. Almost
Also,
everything is there from the jump,
also,
except for
also,
specific items that you find.
right. And here's the coolest thing: in the beginning of this game, the path that you take, you walk by all the shortcuts back through dungeons, and they're not blocked. You could literally just go backtrack through a dungeon because now you know that there's an opening there. The way they hide stuff in the overworld, like they hide secret
It's
paths in
dude.
different ways, is awesome. It's so awesome.
I don't know if you've been watching the footage or if you've done the quarry area yet, but I'm in the
Yeah, I'm in the
footage here.
quarry.
I went through this entire quarry area, and this is a pretty challenging area. And I went through this whole fucking thing, and then I found like, I was like, oh, there's like a little crevice there, and I walked into the crevice, and it took me up a little invisible staircase that was hidden behind a wall, and it popped me right at the beginning, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
I could have bypassed this entire dungeon just by walking through this fucking crevice, and I would have skipped all of that shit. Would have been
Yeah,
like a beeline to the boss, basically.
yeah.
And it was there from the beginning. And the fact, like, every time that happens, it happens a lot in this game. Every time it happens, I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, the
You
loop
son
back,
of a bitch.
like the loop back in this game is classic, like Dark Souls Vania style, like loop backs. They're everywhere.
If you
They're
like
everywhere.
shortcuts, if you like
Yes.
shortcuts in Souls games, this is the game for you.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's not enough shortcuts in Elden Ring. There
That's
isn't.
probably fair.
There
But
isn't
there are
enough.
definitely some.
Yeah, every main like
There's
castle or
right
something
there. If you're watching the
has.
footage, I just took the shortcut.
Yeah,
It made
no,
me
no, no.
so fucking mad.
Yeah, that stuff is awesome. That stuff is awesome. It's a really cool game. It's just
It
really
is.
cool. And if you have nostalgia for being a kid, which I do, like the reason I like this game so much is just because like it just like I haven't been there since I've been there. Like I haven't been 7 years old since I was 7 sitting in front of a CRT with a
Unlike the
manual.
rest of us.
Right. No, but I'm saying like, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about like existentially, like I mentally haven't been there since then. And once I did it in this game, I got there for a minute, and it made me realize like, wow, like man, I loved that stuff so much. And that's like, has such an impact on like my adoration for video games that like seeing it here just made me like love this
I will
game
say
just for that.
I think it's easy to hear someone say something and be like, oh, that's hyperbole or something. But like, let me tell you, this game feels kind of like a love letter to video games. Like modern video games and classic video games simultaneously. Like so much of what Jeff is talking about like throwing back to like classic, NES, Super NES, pre NES, fucking CRT, just like all that shit. Like it's all there with like modern tropes layered down on top of it, and it gives you fuzzy feeling. It gives you fuzzy feelings while you're playing it, and I love it.
If you lived through that era, or you have an appreciation for that, or even if you're the kind of kid that
or if
hates
you're like
the fact that you
or if you're
didn't
like
get
me who
to
feels like they missed it, like
right.
like I fell in love with video games after that time had kind of come and gone, and I always kind of wished that I could better understand it because I don't really have that same level of nostalgia, but I want it. This kind of gives me that.
The design of this instruction manual reminds me of Nintendo Power instruction manual guides. That's exactly what they look like. They look like every now and then Nintendo Power would have like a Mario Brothers 3 instruction special, and it was like 100 pages of Mario 3 stuff and like tips and tricks and like ways to do certain things and explanations of stuff. And this just reminds me of that, and I remember that stuff so much. And
for sure.
and like after playing this, being like sitting there being like, man, I wish I had kept some of that stuff. I wish I still had this, that, and the other thing, like just because that 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 nostalgia gets sucked out of you as you grow up, and then you kind of forget about it. But like being able to have a game like inject you with it, and like, hey, this, and it being that authentic and feeling that real, just, man, it's special. It's super special.
I think this game is special. All right, let's shift gears for a bit.
Iron Lung.
Yeah, it's like let's really shift gears. Let's go to the polar opposite end here. Iron fucking Lung, which by the way, Chris Davis gifted to me the other day, and I actually thought about playing it today before the podcast, but I was like, I should probably capture footage of Tunic.
You probably could play it and finish it.
I also had to eat dinner, so didn't really have time. But anyway,
yeah, that's not a game about that you can really have dinner and play at the same time.
I mean, yeah, and I just don't do that period anyways. So let's talk about Iron Lung. What is this?
Iron Lung is an indie game. Dusk. It's an indie game developed by David Szymanski, the creator of Dusk, and he's currently working on a thief-like, I forget what the name is called. Gloomwood.
Yeah, we played the demo and talked about that pretty at length. I think. I mean, that game looks and plays beautifully.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah. He's an awesome dev.
Well, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, this is a little experimental game that he put out earlier this month. It's really short. It's designed to be beaten in under an hour, if that long. The idea
How long
is
the beat says 58 minutes.
I beat it in like 47 or something like that, and that's what dying. Yeah. Strangely enough, Carlos was all over this game's dick, and yet I played more of this game than him, so it's kind of weird.
I say you said strangely enough. It's like this is not strange that Carlos is all over this game. This is a Carlos game through and through.
Hit him with the premise.
Okay, so this game, it is a atmospheric horror game. The idea is that, let me set up the narrative for this universe.
This is a universe.
This sci-fi universe has seen kind of a raptured-like event. Just one day out of nowhere, all the habitable planets in the known universe and all the stars in existence disappeared. So anybody that was on a planet disappeared. All that's left were like the people in between on the asteroids and on the moons. Everything is lifeless, and the universe is slowly dying from entropy. So,
okay. I did not know that was part of this premise.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeff looks like maybe he wasn't even aware of this premise.
No, I do.
I thought you were in a submarine.
They turned the lights off. They hit the button, the power switch, to turn the stars off and shit. Because the Earth is flat, so
Anyway, so you play as a convict who is stationed on a lifeless moon where where people have discovered an ocean of blood. And to earn your freedom, you are put into the sub and you are forced to explore the bottom of the ocean to find out what's going on.
Oh, you are
Now,
in a submarine.
So the catch is that this submarine is an old thing that wasn't designed to go as deep as it needs to go. So they weld you in, shut you in there, weld over like the one porthole you can use to navigate the sea. And so all you have is your map and your kind of direction and coordinates on a terminal in front of you, and then behind you you have a single button to take a picture of what's in front of you.
And it's so good.
It's so fucking good.
Because it comes out, the picture comes out like what you expect like a 1978 Russian submarine camera to like look like, you know what I mean? And it does that like, and then like you see this like, oh shit, what the hell am I even looking at? You know?
It reminds me of the equipment from the beginning of Jurassic Park, where they're like taking pictures of the fossils, and it's like spitting out the image like layer after layer, like super slow.
That's a good analogy. Yeah,
it's good.
So you are roaming the bottom of this blood ocean. And it's an atmospheric horror game. So
yeah, it's all atmosphere.
It's not really visual. It's all in your ears,
it's
like
all,
hearing
it's all ears.
Hearing like the clunk of your metal and maybe an animal or something far in the distance that slowly gets closer and suddenly is right in front of you, and then it suddenly just disappears.
You need to play this shit. You need to play this shit loud. Like play it loud in the headphones. This is one of the games where you need to like close the door, tell the wife like, please, I need an hour to play this, and then crank it up. You know what I mean? Like crank it up so you can like not have any outside distractions, because the subtle sounds is the stuff that really like works here.
These headphones do a pretty good job of blocking sound, and
yeah,
I'm into it. I'm in it.
It's the subtle sounds like the sounds of something brushing on the outside of what would be your submarine, like the light sounds you hear on a constant. You know, and so when there's like your ears focus to that after a while, and then when something like bah hits the side, you like, and it's not even like a jump scare, it's just, oh shit, like something just hit the side of the sub because I'm in the bottom of the ocean, like because of the focus of the white noise your ear is at, it's like whoa shit, like what the fuck, like it really works on making you jump.
Okay.
Oh, it is a jump scare.
I mean, it kind of is. So the entire map of the game is a lot of like kind of canyons and areas you have to navigate with thin walls that you have to guide through. You have indications on your direction to tell you like when you're getting close to something. But it only detects the four directions, immediate 90-degree directions around you, and it doesn't specify whether it's a wall or if it's like something else. So you really just have to pay attention to your map and your exact coordinates to know exactly where you are and whether you can safely navigate the area.
And just the sound of rusty steel, like.
Is the game called Iron Lung because that's basically what your submarine is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, you know the story of what an iron lung is, right? It's like a machine that keeps you alive, keeps your your lungs, keeps you alive. Yeah, that's what it is.
A common something you commonly see in like atmospheric horror games too, which is kind of an interesting tie in there.
Yeah,
and again, this is a very atmospheric game. Like, it's not visually exciting. It's you in this small tube. You can barely move around.
Hey, I think the excitement of the picture coming through is probably, I would imagine, kind of the thing that's visually interesting, because you're always curious to see what's going to come through in the picture.
Yeah, like as soon as you're going somewhere and like there's like a telling you something is on the right, your curiosity killed the cat. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking like, ooh, I want to go take a picture and see what's on the side, but maybe you don't. Like maybe you don't want to know what the hell's on the side of there? Like, just keep going. You know what I mean? And like sometimes seeing that makes the moments more tense because you're like, you get them weird artifacting like images where you're like, I don't know why is that a rock? Is that a thing? I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? And your imagination starts to take over.
Run wild.
You know?
So
Yeah.
I have one question about, because like you said, it's a short game. It's mostly atmosphere. It's not mechanically heavy or anything. So my question is, I'm assuming you finished it. You played it. You said
Yes.
Okay. Does it deliver? Like narratively speaking, does it deliver something satisfying at the end?
I mean,
I guess that's subjective. That's kind of hard to answer.
that's
No.
kind of subjective. I will say that the premise for this universe is much grander than the scope of this game.
It's a thrill ride.
It's a thrill ride.
It's a thrill ride. It's a thrill ride, bro.
Okay. All right. I'm sold.
But if you appreciate this man's like his vision, you know how Dusk has his vision. If you enjoy his vision from Dusk, like his tone, his like his whole like style, this has that.
I'm ashamed to admit that it took me 3 tries playing Dusk before it finally clicked, and I was like, okay,
Oh my god,
I get it. But after I did, I played the fuck out of Dusk. I loved it.
It's so good.
And what I've played of Gloomwood so far, Gloomwood is probably one of my most anticipated games of this year. It's at least on the list somewhere. So I'm very much into it. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from this because obviously he's been talking about it very much like it's just kind of like the side thing I did. But like that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means kind of like I was waiting for someone to kind of give me the lay of the land here. So I'm very much into this. You know me. I love atmospheric horror. That's what I live for. So we'll play this.
This is the perfect game to play on the feed.
All right, yeah. I will.
Yeah, please do.
Jeff, you know what would make this game even better?
Fuck it, maybe I'll do it tonight.
Do it. Fucking do it right at the feed. This game, the only way I think it could be made better is if it had that like keep talking and nobody explodes kind of thing going, to where like one person's controlling the sub and the direction, the other person's just looking at the map.
Yes.
Like that would be so good.
No, but then that would give you the comfort of company.
Yeah, you're right. You're completely right, Crispy.
But then again, hell is other people.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. That's true.
Dark. It's getting dark. All right. So maybe if we finish this podcast at a decent hour, I'll play this tonight. So
we're almost done.
We're almost.
We're already halfway through, man.
We're already So let's. We've talked a lot about Elden Ring on the show.
I haven't heard Crispy say too much about Elden Ring. Say something about Elden Ring, Crispy.
Dude, Elden Ring is pretty cool, man.
Way to set it up, Jeff.
It's pretty cool.
You wouldn't know it going on the internet these days. Like nobody's talking about this fucking game. No. Jesus.
I mean, it's
pretty popular.
It's such a weird thing. I mean, we're in the good part now. Like we're in the part where like people are still really hyped and jazzed on the game, but like the starry-eyed, like the starry-eyed kind of like honeymoon period is like over, and now we're really like digging into like, hey, I love you, but like, what's wrong with you? You know, and like you're really getting into it, and there's some I think this is an exciting point in the life cycle of any of these games because there's so much to learn after the fact. Like, there's so many things that people are just going to be, like, testing and exploring, and, like, people are speed running it now and, like, trying to find different things. And, like, this is where the shit, like, sometimes you shake something loose that's like, whoa, that was really...
And it's never... We've experienced that before to some extent with other Souls games, but never at this scale.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, this game is just so overwhelming because of its scale. And you know what I was thinking? I was thinking today, like, I noticed... And, we're guilty of this, too. We've said it multiple times on our own show, where everyone's like, is this the Breath of the Wild of Souls games? I saw, like, 4 tweets today of different people saying, is this the Breath of the Wild? And I was like, is this going to be, like, a whole infamous prototype situation where you can't mention one without mentioning the other?
Yeah,
I
it's
just already started.
I think what that is, honestly, is kind of... just a reaction to the idea that like we've played a lot of open world games before, but like we're starting to see these new ones that have, kind of the convenience and streamlined fun factor of like a video game you buy and play on your console. It's not like some weirdly like technically specific game that like a niche number of people who are like interested in like the Russian military or something would play. It's not like a what was it, Scum? Like it's not Scum. Like
Wait, what is Scum?
Scum is that like super technical, like realistic tactical military
Battle Royale
shooter simulator thing,
It's
where it's like you have a
that
button for like pissing your pants if you need to because you have to keep track of how much pee and poop is in your body. Yeah, I don't know, like a whole bunch of stuff.
He's not even joking.
Like,
That's a real thing.
We're getting lost. We're getting lost in the weeds here. Let me get my point out. My point is that like there's this awesome new marriage between like games that are widely accessible to people that are getting like a lot of mainstream attention, but now have like more complex systems, more complex design, and more like a larger variety of complex interactions. And it's like people are comparing this to Breath of the Wild because it's like that. I mean, that is just a great example. It's like how many games have we all played that had this level of like intricacy over this much space?
Right.
Like thought of design and kind of like intricate interactions of systems that like you're like still discovering stuff about it years and years later. Like Skyrim is great, but like what's fun about that game is you play it once, you're like, okay, cool, I get it, and now I'm just gonna mod the fuck out of it and like turn it into whatever game I want it to be. You know what I mean? And that's, I don't know, that's just different. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just different. And I think that what is exciting about that, like I said, like you're like, well, why does everyone keep comparing these to each other? It's like because, dude, like what, like
What
we're
else do we
still
have to
we're
go
still
on?
building language to describe this thing. You know what I mean? Like to describe games like Breath of the Wild. Brad keeps saying like we're in a post Breath of the Wild world. What does a game like this look like in a post Breath of the Wild world? And it's like kind of funny, but absolutely true, right? Like
We live in a post Elden Ring world.
yeah, now we live in a post Elden Ring world, and it's like, fuck, man, like that's really cool. Maybe it's doing stuff that other games have done before, but nobody has like hit that trifecta of like doing it well enough, getting it in front of enough people to play it, and like kind of driving the conversation forward. You know what I mean?
I don't know why this was the game
I
for
don't know.
like for everything, for like TikTok to like all of a sudden like jump on this bandwagon, and fucking Doctor Disrespect is now playing Elden Ring. Every e-girl is playing Elden Ring. Everybody is fucking playing Elden Ring, and they never touched a Souls game before, right? And they're selling this product to an audience, right? That is like they're never like none of like. Here's what I'm
Well,
afraid
this
of
is also
about
kind of a
Elden Ring.
natural entry point, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. No. Hey, listen. I think a lot of people are gonna come out of this and then be fans of Elden Ring, but I
Sure.
think that like this could be the point where From uh has a misstep in their next game. Like if they go really big, expecting I think the 12 million people that they had is gonna drop off on the next game because half of those kids
I didn't know
bought
what they
this
were
shit
getting into.
on a trend. They bought it on a trend because they saw a TikTok video of some dude decimating a dragon and not realizing that he needs to grind for 348 hours before he can have a character that's that fucking strong. And so he plays it and he's like, what the fuck is this shit? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's gonna be
Yeah.
like a bunch of that where
But
people are gonna
Jeff,
be
but
like,
I
Jeff,
don't think, but I don't think
that's
that
kind of
like,
beautiful.
yeah, I don't think that this game having a reputation for being hard, especially for Soulsborne games, is something that's going to harm its standing in the cultural consciousness. Like I think that's just kind of part and parcel of like why everybody knows it. Like you're either somebody who played this game, got really into it, dumped 200 hours into it, or you're the kind of person who's like, I don't know if video games are for me anymore. Like, you
But
know, like this is such a
but
defining moment for a lot of people, whether or not you actually like it or not, you know,
but
like.
as fans of the series, right? Do we ever say is the first time you talk about a From game? Do you ever actually say like, "Man, I'm so excited to play it because it's going to be so hard"? That's like never a thing that I say. I never say that. I'm always more excited about just like the atmosphere and where I'm gonna, what door I'm gonna open and where that door is gonna
No.
lead me next.
No,
Is my,
you're right.
you know.
I'm not the kind of person who's gonna be like, oh man, I hope this one really kicks my ass.
Right, right.
But
So
we
we're
do
gonna.
know people who are like that. Like
Oh, do
Brad
you?
talks like that all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Brad's a
Jaeger talks
fucking
like that all the time. It's
God, dicks.
like
You're naming
I know,
dicks.
I know. There are some people who like really are looking for that, and that's fine. But I think even those people, like even people like me who don't say, "Oh, I can't wait for this game to be really fucking hard." Like I know full well going into this that I'm just gonna like do my thing. I'm gonna kind of pay attention to some of the optimization in the meta, but like I'm just gonna do what I need to do to get through the game, and I'm not apologizing to anybody for like not being into PvP or using summons or like
I
using
did
the
that,
fucking
Crispy.
mimic tier or whatever. Like I'm just concerned with getting through the game, right? And I think a lot of people are like that, and I think even for those people who aren't necessarily in it just because it's hard, I think one thing they do like about the game is the power fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about this game's hard. It's about this game is hard and then you get like more powerful than everything else and then it kind of like starts to get a little easier and then
do
you
you?
feel
Is
that
the
and you're
question.
like, "Oh, that's cool." You know, it's the power fantasy, man.
But you
It's like,
don't get
"Boy, I
powerful,
can't I
bro.
don't think about
Bro,
I don't think
you know
about
what the
No,
fuck
shut up. Hang on. Shut up. Shut up. I know. I know. I know what you're going to say. And you're
Think of the
right
listeners,
kind
guys.
of, but also like shut up.
you
I don't
know.
think about, oh, I can't wait to fight a really difficult dragon that's gonna murder me in 2 shots. I think about, boy, I can't wait till I can cast that fucking laser beam spell that just melts everybody down. And you know, sure, there's
But it
like,
doesn't. It
okay, it
doesn't
kind of
have
does for like a couple
spells
levels, and then they
anymore.
patch it, or you level up, and then you hit a difficulty spike, and then yeah, dude, it's not a perfect system, obviously,
No.
but like, I don't know.
Here's what I did. I
I still
played.
don't think that difficulty is really gonna harm its
I
popularity.
just don't know where the conversation is about difficulty. Like, because I think everybody that play the people I know that play these games, like, we never really discuss like, yeah, fucking this
Dude,
shit's hard.
I've heard
No?
people have all kinds of completely different things to say about this game.
Yeah.
Like when does this game get hard? This is way too easy. I got way too overpowered way too quickly.
But you don't. You
Or
don't. You
hang
don't
on,
get
hang
fucking
on,
overpowered.
hang on. I'm
hold on,
not
hold on.
saying I'm not. I'm just saying people say that, you know, and then you've got other people who are like, this game is way more punishing than any of the other Souls games. Why do the movesets function like this? Like, why do the bosses all have like one-shot kill hits that they pull
do.
out
They
all the
definitely do.
time? Like, why is it like this? Like, what I'm saying is like, there's such a vast gulf of experiences that like, I don't even know that. I don't know what is true anymore. I don't know that we
Right.
can pick a direction and say
But you like it,
this
right?
game's too hard. Do I like it?
Yeah, you like it.
Yeah, fuck yeah,
Fucking
dude.
love it.
What the
Best
fuck are you
game.
talking about?
Yeah,
Yes, I
nobody-
love it. It's amazing. Are you kidding me?
So here's where I stand. I played the game organically. I don't play this like Brad does, right? I don't like
I don't know
start
how Brad
digging
plays
or
it.
talking. Like I don't discuss it really. Like I wasn't in the Discord while I was playing this. I was staying away from everything. I wanted to kind of organically explore this
He avoided
world.
the water cooler.
Yeah. I completely avoided the raw cool. I didn't do the thing of like, oh, find out the good dex weapon and go fucking find it. I didn't do that. I was like, if I stumble into the dex weapon, yeah, I went dex arcane. and you know what that means? It means the mid game is great, and then the end game is like suffer. You
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it is. Like bleed is so good until it's not good at all anymore, and you're like, damn.
But it's also broken.
I played like a Sith Lord. I played a twin blade dex character with bleed on both sides of my of my twin blade. Yeah, I did the ghost flash, so I like teleported everywhere, and I just slice and dice with my twin blade and shit, which means that I'm super light. I'm not wearing heavy armor, and every fucking boss in the end of this game was just like, da dead, da dead.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah, that's
fuck,
just like
everything is a one hit. The thing I did realize is that you can't. I didn't, bro. I ended the game 155. I was level 155 at 148 hours I put into it. 150. I was level 155, and like I was nothing compared to the bosses. I earned those wins. You know what I'm saying? Like those bosses were still fucking you up. It didn't matter. And I scaled it myself. I was like, okay, what if I grind 30 more levels? And like that wouldn't make a difference. It would literally give me, 200 more hit points at best. It was like, it wasn't even worth it. I would have done an extra 16 hits of damage. Like it was never worth it. So where I was at was like, okay, you just gotta bang your head against this until in the end. And the end does a shitty job. For the first time, I thought they they never did this before.
Do you think they dropped the ball in the end?
It's a gauntlet. You want the truth? It's a gauntlet.
Oh,
It's
a boss
gauntlet.
rush.
Like you want to fight 4 bosses back to back to back to back. Time to do it. Like go ahead, go for it. You know what I'm saying? It's Streets of
And
Rage.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I am taking my time and pacing myself and making sure I give myself time to play other games.
So here's me telling myself. Here's me telling myself. Right by hour 140, I'm like, okay, Jeff, here it is, end game. Like you're done. You're done, right? I already found all the cool shit. I'm the Sith Lord that I wanted to be. Like I'm doing everything. Like you're a badass. You look great. Like let's finish it. Let's get the fuck out of this place.
Look good, feel good.
I don't want to be on this vacation no more. Let me fucking get out of here. And then I didn't realize what the ending of this game was gonna be like. And then I had 4 bosses to go take down, and I spent another 10 hours.
I want to get off Mr. Bone's wild ride.
And those last 10 hours was like me, like literally being like putting the controller down, putting my hands in my face, and being like, I can't, I can't.
Yeah,
he needed therapy. He needed therapy after this.
Yeah, and like I would leave and like come back. I quit smoking cigarettes, and I was literally contemplating going to buy a pack of cigarettes in the middle of beating these bosses. Was like, I'm gonna go fucking.
It's funny when you said that. When you said that, I thought you were saying this game made you quit cigarettes, and I was about to be like, God damn.
He started smoking more cigarettes.
Yeah.
I caught COVID.
He smoked cigarettes and e-cigs now together at the same time.
No, I caught COVID in January, and then I quit. I quit smoking cigarettes. Period.
Damn,
that's good for you. Not good for you that you got COVID, but good for you that you stopped.
Where you go on the COVID, man?
Yeah, good. Hey, I caught it too, Crispy.
Oh man,
we're like brothers. We're more like brothers.
It's crazy though. It's crazy to think
about. We got
the
mutated genes now.
Spend most of your adult life smoking cigarettes, and then we end up in this pandemic situation, and you catch COVID, and that's the thing.
And it helps me.
That's the thing that gets you to stop. It's crazy.
I'm gonna be on an infomercial in 20 years. Like COVID saved my life. It helped.
What's your secret?
Cigarettes.
COVID's good, actually. People shouldn't get vaccinated.
No,
that's a joke. That's a joke.
I'm gonna censor that whole thing. Well, I that was a rousing conversation about Elden Ring. I think we all like Elden Ring quite a bit here.
Yeah,
it's just.
Yeah, you still have my fucking shield, Nick.
I didn't know you were expecting me to give that back to you.
Okay, give it back.
Give it back.
No.
Also,
shield is it? I'll give it to you.
Also, I'm using a different shield now,
oh, you son of a bitch. I found a better one. It's like a black cross, or it's like a black shield with a cross. I don't know. Whatever.
Cool.
But I will say, I beat Radon last night.
Nice.
Oh man, that's a fight.
Holy fuck, man.
Yeah,
like, first of all, one of the most frustrating things.
Almost there.
Yeah, one of the most frustrating things I've played in this game, obviously. But also, one of the coolest things I've seen in any of these Soulsborne games. Like, that was fucking cool. Like, that was just a cool idea. Was really into it. Was like. I
mean, it's an interesting idea.
Game. Like, I hate that this game is like fucking stomping on my face, and I'm looking at the sole of the boot, going like, "Wow, these are really nice boots."
Oh,
Uh,
I love that. Oh, fuck.
Or Don, that's the lion fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, General
Star,
Radon, the big dude.
yeah, what
The red.
Star?
Yeah, yeah. Doesn't he?
You
Doesn't
know,
he have like
I'll
the
just say
fire hair?
this.
No, he's not a little horse.
I'll just say
Oh
this,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
guys.
Tiny horse.
I have I'm only like 41, 42 hours into this game, and I still only have one great rune, and I still have not even found or come close to finding where I need to go to find the second great rune.
Can I say?
And
Can I say the great runes are not
That
like
can't be.
they're
That
not
can't
that
be.
they're not like the.
I mean, those are like no, but those are like the story
That
points,
first
right?
one
Those
is that first one's pretty OP.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. But I'm not worried about like
But the
difficulty. I'm
second
just
one,
saying,
you
I don't
have
even know where to go to find it. I am bouncing all over the world, and I don't even know
what?
where.
What's the last legacy dungeon you did?
What is a legacy dungeon?
It's the big story dungeons that have 2 bosses in them.
Yeah,
The
like all
one
the
with Godric.
manors.
Oh,
Godric is the only like story boss, quote
you
unquote,
haven't
story boss
been
that I've fought so
to
far.
you haven't been north of Stormvale?
Yeah, no, I've been way north of Stormvale. I just haven't come across. Dude, I've done so much stuff in this world, but none of it, all of it's optional.
You
Like
haven't been
none
to
of
the
it.
academy?
I have not been to the academy yet.
Okay.
Oh, I love the academy. When I came to the academy, I was like,
But that's the crazy thing. That is the fucking nutso banana crazy bullshit about this game that I
Ooh,
love.
bananas.
Just like I've played 40 plus hours this game. The last like major story boss that I fought was like 20 hours ago at this point, and nothing about me is going, I really need to find the next thing. Like I'm just like constantly, oh my god.
that is what it is. They are exactly that. They are exactly
I am
that.
constantly
Facts.
constantly finding other things that are interesting and completely optional. And I am in no rush to find the next thing. I'm just like I'm kind of doing it like Jeff's doing it. I'm still in Discord talking to people about stuff, but I'm not looking for tips. Like I'm not trying to get people to point me in a direction. I'm just talking about my experiences, and I'm in no rush. I'm just kind of doing it organically, and I love that. I love that about the game.
I really look forward to when you eventually find the manor. I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Man, Nick,
Which
you're
one?
gonna love. There's so many. Like every time you find something, it's like it's fucking awe-inspiring. I love finding.
Don't get me. No, you're not wrong. Don't get me wrong. The things that I've been doing have not been like small or like they haven't felt like small distractions or anything. Like I've done so much stuff in this game that feels. I'm like, is this story stuff or is this optional stuff? Because everything feels like that much care has been put into it. So
I will say that I didn't follow that much of the quest lines. Like I didn't find that many NPCs in my organic rummage through this world. Unfortunately,
I had
after
to
beating
eventually
it-
resort to just doing Fextra Life to find out what the quest lines actually are, because
Okay.
it is so hard to find some people in this fucking game.
Yeah,
If they are not
just kinda-
at just a site of grace and you don't mark it on your map, good luck finding them.
well,
Dude,
now
I've
the
found-
now
I've
the
found quite a
update
few.
the update now sets where NPCs are on the map when you highlight the like points of travel.
It sets some. It sets the merchants and the finger crones, but as far
it
as like
doesn't
regular
set it?
NPCs, unless they stay in one spot, they will never notify you that they're there.
So
What about the Turtle Pope?
You gotta mark them. I never found the fucking Turtle Pope.
The
Okay,
turtle
guys,
Pope was great.
All right, we need to move on. We need to move on. The turtle pope. Jesus,
The
fucking-
turtle
I don't know what
pope.
the fuck you're talking. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
When you
That's what
find
I
the
love.
turtle
You know
Pope,
what's
you'll
really funny is
understand.
Nick is gonna find Turtle Pope and be like, I don't
Mitch
know what I was
McConnell
expecting.
looking
But it wasn't
McConnell
this.
looking ass motherfucker.
All right, real quick, we're gonna answer a couple questions here in a second. Before I do that, and I want to mention this almost purely because I put it on the doc, and I want to make sure we mention it. And I don't know how much we have to say about it, or how much anybody else here has to say about it, but CD Projekt Red announced the next Witcher game the other day, and I just wanted to get y'all's initial thoughts on that. And is there anything of interest about this? I've seen quite a few reactions to it, some of which are like,
Look at my
"Cool,
face.
I love The Witcher." Jeff's got nothing.
Look at this. They took 70 of my fucking dollars and they just let me play the game that I bought like a year and fucking God knows how long ago. Just this year, a few months ago, is when I got to play the game that I bought a fucking year and a half ago. Like, I'm not gonna give you no, you're getting nothing from me until I see reviews, till I watch streams of your next fucking game, bro. I don't care.
True.
Like, I don't care anymore.
That is absolutely true and fair and the way it should be done. I lucked out with
Yeah.
Cyberpunk because I returned it. It's the only game to this day I've ever returned to Amazon after playing 10 hours of it, and I got a full refund. So that was nice.
I mean, I am a bit of an apologist for that game because I did play it on launch and I beat it to completion and it was buggy as fuck. But if you can look past those many, many, many bugs, there is a fun narrative experience to play.
But you know what? We're not talking about Cyberpunk. I'm excited to finally play Cyberpunk now that the dust is kind of settled on it. But neither here nor there. They really just announced it. And here's the reason I wanted to bring this up. Because obviously we know next to nothing about this game now, other than it exists. They're working on a Witcher game. The teaser image they released, people are theorizing that you're not going to play as Geralt because it's basically a necklace in the snow, and you can it's like kind of obscured. You can't really see the medallion. But I think it's a lynx, not a wolf.
They've confirmed it's a lynx.
Okay, so the cat school.
Yeah, so it's probably gonna be different in that regard, which is cool. It's exciting. But like the reason I wanted to bring it up was because they announced, along with this announcement, that they are moving away from their engine. I think it's called Red Engine, which is what they built almost all of their games on, recent games, and they're moving to Unreal Engine 5 with the next game. So my question for you is this: obviously, after Cyberpunk,
weird, right?
Obviously, we still one way or the other kind of have to wait and see what pans out. But do we think that engine was a big part of the problem, and maybe Unreal will give them maybe a more stable?
I mean, I would imagine that the Red Engine just wasn't scaling like Cyberpunk needed it to do, and that was part of why Cyberpunk had a lot of problems.
Let's not scapegoat the engine here, because there's a lot of things wrong with that game that are just like you didn't write a story. Like, no. The engine's not gonna fix that,
No.
But
sure.
I get what you're saying, but like that's kind of fucking weird, right? That like they're taking their proprietary engine and they're just being like, okay.
I mean, I think
they're just shelving it.
Well, no.
Here's a direct reaction to Cyberpunk. Like
no,
they can't risk.
I don't think it's necessarily a reaction to Cyberpunk. I think it's the fact that they're announcing this project very early on. It's not even in pre-production right now. They started work on it very late last year, and they're announcing it so early because they want to hire people on. And if you have a proprietary engine, that means you have to train people on a proprietary engine.
Yes.
Whereas right now, when it's early on in a project, you could hire people on that understand this engine that everyone else in the industry is using.
Were they hiring a bunch of people because they hired a bunch of people?
Chris Davis be hanging out in the Next Gen Pants Discord too much with that fucking brain, that 10,000 IQ. That's exactly what it is, and that's exactly what it is, because it's easier to think. And I bet you those dudes all learned like how to do stuff in Unreal Engine just for fun, because you could just
what you're saying is
for Unreal and develop in it,
What you're saying is they dumped all their time and money into Cyberpunk, released it, fired everybody who worked on it, and now that they need to make a new game, they're having to hire up again.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't recall the layoff stuff.
I don't know the layoffs.
It may also be a lot of people just left the studio on their own accord after Cyberpunk.
Yeah, wasn't there also like a corporate culture scandal with them or something?
Do you think
part of
the
that,
next? Do you think the next Witcher will be a?
So it wasn't that they fired everybody, drove them out.
It's certainly possible.
What I'm saying is like the optics of the whole thing. Nothing about this seems exciting.
Do you think that
let's all hang around and watch CD Projekt Red try to claw out of this giant hole they dug?
The next protagonist is going to be a black woman, you think?
Wait, is that?
Are they
Wait,
gonna
are you
try it?
hypothesizing?
No,
No,
yeah. I'm
what?
saying, do you think that they're gonna start to like try to just go straight? Like, okay, let's appease.
No,
I think
let's
no, I think they're gonna make it a creative character, and you will be able to have a dog.
create a character. You think
Yeah, like
on a
Wait,
Witcher?
wait, wait,
On a
wait.
Witcher?
like
Wait a
on a
second.
Mr.
Witcher
like
game?
Prince of the Universe.
yeah, it's
Wait,
going to be
did you
either
say you have a dog or a
Dong? Dong?
Okay,
dong?
wait.
Okay,
So,
I didn't know if I heard you correctly.
Penis
Because
Tunic,
they're
Penis 2.
because their previous game, CD Projekt or Cyberpunk 2077, famously had penises and vaginas, boobs, and butts.
But weren't there only like two
Yeah,
like
there were
two
3
vagina
penises
options
and 2 vaginas or something.
and then like 18 penis? I don't fucking remember.
Was it 18? I don't
here's
remember.
the thing.
Everyone was really excited about penis too.
So here's the question. What who writes it? Like, what is this do they have the rights to continue to write
They
Witcher
have the
stuff?
rights.
Dude,
I think they have the
for
rights
sure,
to. They have the rights to create or expand upon the video game version of the universe. I believe. I don't know how they.
But
don't know
who
where
wrote that? Who wrote that story and that lore? Who wrote the Witcher 1, 2, 3 stuff? Was that
I mean,
ripped from books?
No, not ripped. I mean, there are things in those games that allude to and straight up retell stories that are told in the books, but like there's a lot of original stuff in there too. And I'm gonna be honest,
Okay.
I'm not an expert on this. I don't know the dividing line here, but I seem to remember this might be one of the situations where the author of The Witcher was just like, "What? You want to give me money so you can make up shit in my universe? Please do." Like, I don't think you run into that situation a lot. I think a lot of people want to have strict control over what goes into their universe, and I think I remember there being a thing about the author being like, "Do whatever the fuck you want because I want money."
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't think that's as weird and rare as you're making it out to be.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't remember the specifics of what happened, but I wanted to make sure we brought it up because the engine thing was a bit unexpected. So, but I'm glad you had that.
The engine thing is only like half the reason why this announcement is happening now. The other half of the reasoning is financials, because we're closing out the end of the fiscal year, and CDPR has a investor call that they've got coming up pretty soon, and it makes them look good and raises their stock price if they announce a new Witcher game after 1.5, the 1.5 patch for Cyberpunk has come out. So it gives them good optics, and will help them out when the call comes.
And boy, do they need good optics. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to answer.
Also, bearing in mind that none of us are business analysts or really
we just play some on TV.
analysts of anything.
We're yeah. What Crispy said. All right. Before we wrap up, I want to go ahead and answer a couple questions because we do like to do this on the show. I know we're doing a short show this week, but I want to make sure we get these questions in. So again, guys, if you're listening to this and you want to ask us a question for a future show, you can do one of two things. You can email us at questions@4playernetwork.com, or you can go into Discord, go to the submit a question thread in the podcast section, and I create dedicated threads for each episode. So our first question this week comes from Cracknacker. And this is always a great way to start a question. It says, if this is too personal, feel free to gloss over it. I always enjoy learning about people's daily routines. What's a typical day in the life of a 4PP member like? I'm going to leave it at that and let y'all run with it however you want.
All right, I wake up, I bang lines of cocaine, I fucking feed my kid, I run around the house 37 times, I fucking bang more lines of cocaine, I eat eggs, pancakes.
So that's all before breakfast.
No, breakfast all day.
That
cereal on the toilet, all that. In the shower, cereal in the shower, motherfucker. That's how we do it.
Wait. Pause here. Nick.
That's all of us. Jeff is speaking for all of us.
Yeah, pause. Nick, what did you think he was saying when he said cereal on the toilet? What was your immediate thinking about what that was? Because I'm a little worried.
Wait. He was eating cereal out of a bowl on the toilet. What is that? What we're talking about? Is that
okay? I feel better
Are
now.
you making?
All right.
Are you making like a joke about serial killers or something on the toilet? Like what? Like what are you?
No.
Where are you
What
going
is
with it?
what is another name for like the body of a toilet?
I
Bowl.
don't.
A bowl.
Yes.
What the fuck is happening, bro?
I don't know what's going on. Crispy, do you have anything? Tell us about your day.
No, I'm embarrassed to be associated with this conversation and this question. No.
Next question. I think Jeff speaks for us all. Our next question comes from Haste. Haste asks, after seeing that Hogwarts footage on the podcast, I couldn't help but notice how much violence the player. Guys, let me get the questions out. Oh fuck! I lost my place. Where'd it go? I couldn't help but notice how much violence the player seems to be dishing out, pummeling helpless foes with magic spells and sending them corkscrewing through the air. This made me wonder, what's your favorite game that doesn't involve any violence? And that question took an unexpected turn at the end. Lighthearted slapstick gets a pass.
I thought we were going to talk about goblin slaves again.
Can we not, guy? I'm going to be honest. I can't handle that.
Wait.
That's why the Harry Potter question came up, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Oh, okay. I was like, what
know.
the fuck is he talking about?
Non-violent video games. I mean, this is kind of an interesting question because I feel like 90% of interactions in,
non-violent video games.
I mean, like, I think like 90% of like mechanics in games kind of boil down in some way, shape, or form to hitting something else with something. You know what I mean? Like a form of violence.
Is Tetris violent?
Kentucky Route Zero isn't violent.
That's why I say 90%. Maybe 90 is a little too harsh. Maybe like 80%.
I'm saying adventure games are typically non-violent for that matter. Adventure games
mechanically, but like a lot of the times the stories they're telling are like centered around violent subject matter or disturbing subject matter.
Not
all the time, but
not all the time.
God, I wish Brad hadn't talked me out of playing Chicory. I feel like that would have been a great answer.
Oh boy,
Chicory. No, Chicory. There's violence in Chicory if you count paint on paint violence.
Haste does specify. He said, "Oh God, where'd he go?" Lighthearted slapstick gets a pass. So like Tunic is like I feel is lighthearted slapstick, but like it's lighthearted.
Yeah, it's not violent.
He's like stabbing people with a sword, man.
No, he's not stabbing.
No, you know what? Okay, you I mean, you get shot a couple times, but like whatever. Portal.
Yeah.
Portal.
Portal's a really good example.
Yeah, there's a fire.
But it is it is. I mean, like there are people trying to kill you,
and deadly neurotoxin,
and they are
straight up
doing really violent. Yeah, you're right. It is a pretty violent game, actually.
Your Portal answer made me bounce straight to The Witness. That game is fucking incredible, and there's nothing violent about it.
There you go.
You know, like that is a game of line puzzles, and it is one of the best games I've played in years.
No, and the other one, not the Witness.
The Talos Principle.
The Talos Principle? Yeah.
That's a good one. Basically, like, clever philosophical puzzle games are great. Wow. There's a lot of good ones, right?
Ooh, what? Stanley Parable. That's a fucking good one.
Are all the endings non-violent?
Yes.
I think that the spirit of the question is mostly just thinking about how you interact with things in the game. You know what I mean? Like if the mechanics themselves are not super violence, like you're engaging with the world in non-violent ways. And like I think about JRPGs. I mean, you have a battle system, but like the draw of the game is never like inflicting pain and violence on other things. It's just there's usually a story. You're getting attached to characters, and it's not super graphic in terms of violence.
In Final Fantasy VII, you're terrorists and you blow up a factory.
That's true. I will exclude Final Fantasy VII too.
I mean, I guess when you commit violence against corporations, it's not really violence. But
I mean, corporations are not people, so
there aren't enough. Where are all the corporation terrorists? You know what I mean? Like that's where the terrorism should be. We should be. Never mind.
we're not in syndicate yet.
If there's any terrorists listening to this podcast, go blow up a company.
Yeah, like why are you doing it to
I'm with you. I'm with
This
you.
is the episode
Let's
that
get
puts
the
us on a
rich.
list. Thanks,
Let's get
guys.
the rich.
We
you
need
know?
we need the listeners. Get some
Why is it
FBI
the
agents.
people? Why is it the poor people trying to fucking sell shit on the streets that get blown up? Like, why isn't it?
Oh,
Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
We're
why
moving
isn't
on.
it? But why isn't it?
Next question.
You know?
I do apologize. There's a couple people here who wanted to specifically ask questions about Hogwarts, and guys, I can't do it. I just can't. I can't fucking do it. So I'm skipping that. I apologize.
Listen, wait, just because I want to talk about it for 1 second. Does it actually? Does she? I mean, she owns the rights, so she's gonna see money from that product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steal it. Steal
I mean-
it. Steal it. Don't buy it. Tori.
I'm
Fine.
not going to censor Jeff, but yes, if this is maybe one of the few situations in which stealing is a viable option.
That
Anyways,
sucks, but
it does
it looks
suck.
cool.
Okay. Mr. Beck, or I don't know why I called him Mr. Beck. He changed his name.
Mr.
Gamer
Beck.
Beck. He says, each member of 4Player gets its own gamer energy drink. What is your flavor? Your co-podcaster's flavors, and what is the drink called? Guys, you gotta keep asking these gotta stop asking these 4-pronged questions where we all have to come up with something. And
Come
then
up with
come
an
up with it for
entire
every
marketing
person.
strategy for. I'm just gonna do my own flavor. My own flavor. I'm calling it right now before any of you fuckers take it. Blue Raz.
Okay. All right.
Blue
I'm gonna
raspberry.
go. I'm gonna.
Blue raspberries. Is like we were going for? I mean, I feel like I thought it was gonna be something like
No, he said
weird.
blue raspberry. He likes blue raspberry. I'm coconut. How about that? Like an
Ew.
almond joy. like a pina colada, bro. I'm like a pina
Okay.
colada.
Okay.
You know, I like pina colada. Yeah.
Pina coladas are good. Pina coladas
Yeah.
are real good.
Mine is a rip off of Capri Sun's Pacific Cooler.
Okay.
Pacific
You know-
Cooler is pretty good.
Yeah, it
Those
is.
are delicious.
That's pretty
Guys,
good, but I
everybody-
can't really put my finger on what the flavor is.
Yeah.
It's
Because it's
kind
not
of like
the
a
Pacific Ocean.
it's like a pineapple kind of
Maybe a little bit of mango.
a little bit of mango. Yeah.
You think? No, that seems a bit exotic for a kids drink from
for
the
a pack.
90s.
Son.
Well, no,
Yeah.
not if you slap the Sobe label on it.
What would you like? I don't know what this like. What do you call like? I guess cream soda. I like
Cream soda?
Is that
Yeah.
flavor? Is that
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
It's vanilla.
It's like a vanilla soda. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's
Which
perfect.
is disgusting, but okay.
Vanilla.
How dare you? How fucking dare you?
Disgusting.
All right. Our last question tonight comes from Roger1JS. He says, "You're tasked with putting Nomura into a game franchise of your choice as the creative lead. What gaming IP is it, and will you do it for the betterment of the gaming industry, or will you do it for the I can't fucking read tonight.
Will you
Will
do it for the betterment of mankind or
the
something?
gaming industry, or see a beloved IP burn?"
Mm.
And Nomura, that's like Nomura's Kingdom Hearts, right? Is that what we're talking about?
And Final Fantasy.
And Final
Yeah.
Fantasy.
But there are other creative people who have done Final Fantasy not Nomura style. There's plenty of non-Nomura Final Fantasy.
Modern single player Final Fantasy is him.
And I don't
The Final
specifically-
Fantasies you like.
Wait, what? Are you saying I like the Nomura Final Fantasies?
The like 13, 13-2, all
I
those.
recall
like
Final Fantasy
8?
15 being on your game of the year list.
Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite Final
Yeah,
Fantasy. Thank
9.
you very much.
Okay.
And you know,
I didn't say your favorite Final Fantasy. I said all the ones you like.
I mean, I don't hate them. I don't
Yes.
hate them. I think we're going with that. I don't hate them. They're just definitely not my favorite.
Okay. Okay.
What kind of
What
long-winded-
franchise?
Nomura is like known for what? All of his like stupid looking characters with zippers everywhere. Is that?
I guess.
Leather jackets,
And
very like
all black
like
leather?
Euro,
Oh.
like Japanese Euro fashion kind of.
For instance, if Nomura were to become the creative director of, I don't know, From Software, right?
I don't
He's
think
gonna-
I would be
if
willing
he's
to let
gonna
that
do-
happen.
Bloodborne 2.
Wow, why would you do that?
Why would you do
Jesus.
that?
Well, I mean, I guess we're
Uh,
already getting that Strangers in Paradise. What's it called? Is that
yeah,
really the
no,
name of it?
Strangers of Paradise.
Strangers in Paradise.
Yeah, Strangers of
Who-
Paradise.
So
I-
stupid.
One day
It is.
it's gonna come out as to what the fucking backstory is on the development of that game. It's gonna be fascinating.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what who I would sacrifice. My brain like jumps to like I don't know
Advance
why I was like,
Wars?
oh God.
I'd
now
let-
you're,
I'd
now you're
let-
just trying to
I
anger
feel like
Brad.
it would still be like if that's what it takes to get another Advance Wars game. Yes.
Let's give Nomura Gears of War. Let's let him reboot Gears. You know, let's like really go. Like,
What would
let's
that
take
even
him
look
away.
like?
Let's take him away from like swords and shit, and give him like fancy chain guns with leather straps. You know,
I think he
I'm
really likes
here
his
for it.
leather.
Halo.
I'm here for it.
Halo.
I mean, both of these are viable answers because they're not like franchises. I would be like, I like it wouldn't be the end of the
Whoa.
world. You know
What
I mean?
what if they announced Dragon's Dogma 2
Oh no!
and he's the
Well, I don't know.
or
about
Deep Down finally shows up
And it's
a
Nomura.
It's a Nomura game.
that. What if you had
Or
him?
what if you put him on Metal Gear Solid?
Shut the fuck up! No way.
Well,
No
I mean,
way.
what? You're not gonna get Metal Gear Solid now anyway. Like, might as
I'm
well
gonna
get
get
like weird emo Metal Gear Solid, right?
Jeff called it. It's Gears of War. That's the answer. I think we could all live with that.
I can't live with that. I can't.
You
live
can't live with sacrificing Gears of War to the
with that.
Nomura
No,
god.
I think Gears of War is too good for Nomura.
Wow.
I'm
Persona, right? It should
I
be
mean-
Persona. Like he
I mean,
actually
just looking.
probably would do a pretty good job.
That's
With
not a bad
Persona.
fit. If we're being
You know what?
honest.
Right?
No.
We're never going
My
to agree on this.
Persona's style is like legit. Let's not let him fuck up Persona. Like,
As long as they keep that cool music they do. You know what do they call it? Yaz? Yes.
You know what? I
Is-
think we've thrown out plenty of possibilities here. Oh fuck! Let's move on. I don't like that. If anything else pops into your head,
are you playing Iron Lung tonight, Nick?
if we finish this podcast in the next 10 minutes, I will.
All right, let's do it.
So let's
it up.
wrap up with the 4-player minute. Jeff, you may have missed this. We're kind of doing the 4-player minute a little differently. We're just doing one thing. It's kind of like a final thought. You can do a hype, sweat, thank you, fuck you. You don't have to do all 4 if you don't want to. So just kind of pick your final whatever. I don't know who wants to go first. Who's prepared? Usually Brad's usually the first one to start with. Crispy, are you ready?
Okay, I'll go first. Sure.
All right.
My 4-player minute this week. I'll give it to Elden Ring just because I'm still, I'm still in that honeymoon phase with the game, I think. It beat me up pretty bad over this last week. I was stuck on that Radon fight for a really long time and then kind of like went out and did other stuff and found out that the Radon fight's actually a pretty big trigger to advance a lot of the things I wanted to do. So I couldn't do anything. And then I was like, oh my God, no. And I just like screamed into my hands the other day. And then like it was really late at night the other night and I was like psyching myself up. I'm like, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna do it. Here we go. And then fucking PSN was down. Or no, my internet went down at like 1 a.m. and I didn't want to like, I don't know. I guess you can play offline, but at the time I was like, oh no, I'm never gonna play video games again, and I went to bed. And yeah, but
this just means you're not gonna have all these liars putting stupid notes all over the place.
So
that
many
are,
liars.
like,
That's true.
90% wrong.
That's true. And you know what's really fucked is like that fight is so scary that I kept being like, I need to find cooperators, and then like it took me a long time to realize like, no, actually this is just hindering me because I need to be on my horse and I need to have him not have such a huge health pool and whatever. I don't want to fucking talk about it.
On my feet, bro. I fought him on my feet.
Okay.
With a dex build.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay,
Okay, Jeff. Okay, man.
Why does it have to be that way?
Okay. But I beat him last night, and I like I'm like, okay, I'm there, cool. Like I'm feeling like kind of pumped up again. I'm like, yeah, awesome, cool, yeah, yeah, and I'm exploring that big area that's his boss arena, and I found a fucking crypt all the way to the north of
Yes.
that
I was just
beach,
about to tell you
and
about
I
that.
went in there, and it fucking sucked. And like my buddy was helping me out, and like I summoned into his world and helped him beat the boss, and then we summoned into my world, and we kept doing it over and over and over again, and we didn't beat him, and then it was like 4 a.m, and I was like, oh no, this game is ruining my life. I have to go to bed, and I didn't beat the boss, and I went to bed just like the saltiest I've ever been, and I fucking hate that game so much.
Crispy,
Like,
it's oh man, no.
it's like I had to open up the map and put a little marker on it that was like, "There's a boss in there I haven't beaten yet," and that was the saddest moment of
Hey,
my life.
Hey,
but crispy,
we're doing
but
both of
crispy.
ours because I was the same way. I was the same way. I'll give it to Elden Ring too because I was like on my hands and knees, like in the living room at one point, being like, "Why do I fucking hate you so much? Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing? I'm a
dude.
grown ass man. Get up, stop it." you know.
Dude, and
Oh,
it's like the one time I thought I for sure had him, he gave me Scarlet Rot and I died from it. And it's like why does he doesn't attack that takes out 98% of my health in one hit. Why does he need to also have Scarlet Rot on top of that
hmm
just
Yeah.
to be a fucking dickhole? Because I guess that's the fucking story, because it's thematically cohesive,
Like
because Radon and his army were wiped out by Scarlet Rot, so obviously the tomb with their bodies in it has Scarlet Rot in it. Like, I fucking hate this game, man.
Can
Nick,
I?
you have to understand with this boss in particular, you've encountered
No,
him before probably, but you haven't encountered him in the confined spaces that you're in, and it sucks.
Sucks, dude. He doesn't move, and like you can't even see what's happening. It's like your camera, you're just like, whoa, where is he? Oh my god, what's happening? And then he stops moving, and you're like, he didn't hit me, and then he hits you, and you die.
I'm getting PTSD from this
I know.
conversation, and I'm like starting to boil up and get more angry at the game. I'm like,
but
I'm gonna
guys,
fucking delete it. I'm gonna
but
delete it right
guys,
now.
don't forget, guys. But it's a nice boot.
Nice boot.
It's a nice
It
boot.
is, isn't it? Oh, it's a
Very
great boot.
very supple
My
leather.
I'll continue. I'll continue by shortly just saying that, like, as yeah, I'm with you. And calling in people for co-op doesn't change a thing. All it does is double the hit points of the boss, and you get the distraction, you get the strategy,
Your
but it
friends
doesn't.
get to watch you die.
Right. But then you feel like a dickhead when you like go into a fight, you miss a roll, he kills you in one shot, and everyone's like, "Oh, come on, guy," and I'm like, "Sorry, I suck. Come back in. Can you put another sign down? Please help me." You know, my fuck you is to myself for not getting in at the ending, getting into the end game of Elden Ring fast enough when all the exploits were there and you could kamehameha every boss to death. Like I wish I had taken advantage of the exploits
I don't
because
think they've
I
nerfed that
made
yet.
yeah, it's you can't infinitely do it really, and it doesn't do as much damage as it
Oh,
does. So like you still have to fight a little bit,
you
and I
have to
wasn't
actually
prepped
have some
for it.
skill.
Yeah,
I
so
would just like to let you know, Jeff, that my wife just texted me and said, "Oh my God, Jeff's camera work is crazy."
yes, I'm
So
sorry.
she's watching from the other.
I started moving. Crispy started talking about Elden Ring and his frustrations, and like I
I had
started
to
to
pace.
itch.
It's
I
it's
had to
those
itch.
lines of cocaine you had 30 minutes before we
I
started the
know.
It's the
podcast.
Yeah, no
cocaine and the
shit.
need to pace. All right, Chris Davis, what's your 4-player minute?
I mean, I echo what they were saying about Elden Ring. I'm at
You're
a
gonna do Elden Ring.
well,
You
I'm
bastards.
well in a little bit different context because I have put about 108 or 9 hours into the game. I am really starting to feel that fatigue. I really want to go play something else. But unlike Nick the polygamist here, I'm a one game at a time kind of guy.
Yeah, but that game should never be Elden Ring. That game
It's
should
just
never be Elden Ring.
that's the way. That's what life does to you sometimes, Nick. Sometimes it just throws you an Elden Ring at you, and you just gotta take it all in.
Like, mentally, guys, I'm in a much better place than all of y'all are, apparently.
I know, you
because
are. Congratulations.
I'm taking the
I
time
fucking
to
love
play
it.
Tunic, and I'm just playing a couple hours here and there of Elden Ring, and it's fucking great.
Chat, clip this.
You're not
fucking
far enough.
Clip this. Clip this right now. I'm telling you, clip this. Because we're going to feed this, force feed this into Nick's mouth when time comes. We're going to just be like, oh yeah, Nick, take this.
He doesn't know yet. He doesn't understand.
Hey,
Now,
and then he'll
I've played so many Souls games in my life, and I've beaten them all. I know what you're talking about. I'm just not there yet.
I mean, this isn't going to mean anything to anybody on the show except Jeff, but I just committed the cardinal sin in the game, and so I finally have the end game just over the horizon. I know it's there. I just got to go for it. But
do it. Do it, Chris Davis.
Ghostwire comes out tomorrow. Okay, I really want to play that, and then I also picked up Chorus because that got decent reviews, and I got it on a sale, and I want to play that because it's some sci-fi cool stuff. And I'm struggling.
Chris Davis doesn't want to be a polygamist, but like he kind of wants
Chris
to be a
Davis,
polygamist.
let me just tell you, if you're where I think you are, and you're gonna take the elevator of doom to where you need to, like, I expect 6 hours of that frustration. Expect it.
Okay.
Expect to, like, it doesn't end. It's like, yes, you get the release. You're like, yes, you save at the site of grace, and you walk through the next door, and it's like boss logo shows up on the bottom. You're like, fuck, and then you finish that one, and you're like, yes, thank God. And then you take a step, and you're like, what? It's bad. It's bad.
Great.
Right.
I can't wait.
You make the end game sound so enticing.
It's take your time.
We're running out of time if I'm gonna end up playing this game tonight, guys.
All right, go Nick, go.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn. Go.
So 4-player minute, guys. We talk about it trying to be like a final thought thing, and I try to think about like what's the most relevant thing I could talk about pertains to me. And if I'm being totally honest, I could probably sit here and talk to you about how utterly stressed I am about the Hogwarts Legacy thing still. Listening to so much stuff, reading up on so much stuff, thinking about so much stuff, and having all these conflicting thoughts over the past week. And you know what? I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to get into it, so I'm not going to. But let me just say, it's still fucking killing me. But I still have plenty of time to stress out about that, I guess. But what I will say is Ghostwire Tokyo comes out tomorrow, and I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous because I love The Evil Within. I love Tango Gameworks. I love what that studio represents, and I love the look and vibe of that game. But it's getting really mixed reviews, and I don't know which camp I'm going to end up falling in. I do admit that I'm the kind of person who atmosphere can maybe go a lot farther for me than it can for some. I can be okay with like mediocre gameplay if a world and a story is interesting enough. I don't know if Ghostwire Tokyo is that game though. So I'm nervous. That's my sweat. That's what I'm gonna act. That's my official 4-player minute. I'm fucking sweating balls about Ghostwire Tokyo. Also, that's gonna be on top of playing Tunic, which I can't put down at the moment. So there's just, and Elden Ring is just sitting there waiting for me. But I will finish that game this year. I promise you. Oh.
Okay.
But yeah.
Bye, everyone.
That's it. That's our show this week. Jeff, thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing the energy and the enthusiasm.
No problem.
And the love. Much appreciated.
Maybe go easy on the Coke next time.
Yeah, imagine if I really did Coke, like, man, I can't imagine what I'd actually be like.
This would not be a listenable podcast or a watchable show.
Maybe it would be the opposite. Maybe it would be like do the complete opposite and actually like calm me down and put me in like a hole or something. Yeah. I'm too old to try that shit anyway. Fuck that shit. Nick, how did you get your cat to hang off the fucking door like that?
I'm not falling for your shit, Jeff. I'm for your shit.
We've
He just
broken.
ghosted us on the podcast.
God
All
damn
right, I
it.
haven't closed out. Guys, thank you so much for listening. 4playernetwork.com is the website. We'll see you guys next week for another episode. Goodbye.
Good night.
Bye.